Welcome back, gurus. I hope you guys are having a good day wherever you are. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be discussing a rather small topic, but a rather large change that just came to the platform in version 49 of IBM SOAR. So, this functionality is actually a low code method of being able to populate your variables into not only your functions, but also your sub playbooks and your scripts. So let's go ahead and dive into this. All right, so we're going to start out here in a playbook. Now, I'm starting out in a playbook because of the fact that this is different from the old customizations. The old customizations still does not have this capability. This is something specifically built for playbooks, as the old customizations is not being updated any longer. So what we're going to do is in our playbook here, you can see I've got this selected as a manual type and an artifact type. So if I had an activation form here, let's just say that I created let's say it's a number, and I just wanted the incident ID. So we can go ahead and add this to a form and go ahead and mark that as good. All right, so now we've got our activation form. Go ahead and give this a save so that the rest of the system remembers that I have that field. But now what we're gonna do is we are going to add a function. For this instance, we'll just go ahead and use a add table from the data tables list here, and we'll go ahead and get that connected up. Now at this point, on the right hand side, we have the two options, the fields and the scripts. So before, as many of you probably remember, we have the fields option for if I want to set a static value. That value could not be changed. It was always going to equal that value. That's not exactly the best use case for that. So we would normally go to a script where we would have to write out our script to say this input for this function should equal this value, or this variable, specifically from our incident. The way that we also used to have to look this up was we would have to come into our settings, and I would tell you, you would come into your settings, and if you needed data table information, come into one of your tabs. You got your data tables down here, where of course you've got your fields, and then you can just click on the marker here and you can see what the actual API name is so that you understand what the variable is. And then I just gave you a little hint that you would have to use the properties field. So incident.properties whatever that was, if it was a custom one, but if it was built into the system, you could just use incident whatever that field name was. So that's changed because that used to be a little difficult. Not only that, but how do I know which one's a custom field versus what's in the system by default? We've changed this around using this new feature called schema. And what we're going to do is if we click on the field section, now we have the schema button on the right hand side here. If you click on that, it's going to pop this window up here. And you can see, since I selected this as an artifact type, I have not only the incident level data, but also the artifact level data and the playbook level data. So if I come in here and I see that I've got inputs that were selected, and those inputs are my integer that I asked for the incident ID. So of course I can click on this. It'll add that in there as a variable, so that it will call that as my static value. Now it's going to be a static value of that variable. So I guess not static value at this point. But that's how we can add that in there. Same with when we come down through an incident, we can see something like this where I can just add that incident ID here. Or of course, if I wanted a custom variable that I've added, I can scroll down and you can see I've got lots of different options where they break down even further to add additional objects underneath there, such as properties. And this is where all of our static fields, or not static fields, sorry. This is where all of our custom fields are going to be located. So we can come down here, we can find what fields we want to add into our system, and we can use those. The other thing too is this says that it's an incident ID. It's specifically requesting a number. If I were to click on one of these that adds a string, it'll actually give me an error letting me know, hey, we're expecting a number and you're giving me a string. So you'll get an error as well. We do some checking to verify that. So this will allow you to have that checking in here so that you're not passing invalid field types over. Now, this can not only be used in fields, but it can also be used in scripts. So if we jump into a script, and for instance, I'm just using the script here, but of course, if I was building a script by itself, not within a function or a sub-playbook or something like that, I could do the same thing. But as I'm typing in here, before the old method was, I would have to do inputs dot, and then like incident ID here, and then that would equal, and before I had to know the variable. Not anymore. Over here on the right-hand side, we have this view playbook schema. And now I can click on my incident object, find the variable that I want to add, hit that plus button, and now I've got that added in here. I do not have to remember that as the person filling this out. All right, so now we've covered that we can do it in both a function and we can do it in a script. Now, the last section to cover is the fact that we can actually add a sub-playbook and do the exact same thing. So for instance, if I were to add this sub-playbook here, and this sub-playbook has an additional input that is needed. So down here, we can see that it's got all right, quick correction here. I added the wrong sub-playbook. This sub-playbook actually has an input down here. So if I come down here, I have this input that's required for the sub-playbook. Again, I've got that schema button over here. I can add those values and I can finish those out real quick. Again, it's also going to do field type checking. And so that field type is a number here. Since the artifact ID is also a integer, then this is set and this will work. But of course, if I were to add a string, it's going to give me that error. All right, now I know that this was a rather short video today, but I thought that this was a really cool feature that I wanted to get out and let you guys know was now in the platform. So I do recommend that if you are not at version 49 yet, try to get to version 49 as soon as possible. There was some pretty cool functionality that came out here. And I know that there are plans to add additional low-code options to the tool. So hopefully here in the future, I'll be popping out some more videos that talks more about this as they get released. As we wrap up this, I hope that this topic has been very helpful for you. I hope that it makes you want to move to the new version 49 of the solution. If it was helpful for you, give me a like and a follow. If it was not, or you have questions about it, please comment below and let us know how we can better assist you. And finally, if you have any suggestions for other videos you would like to see or things you would like to learn about within SOAR, go ahead and drop those in the comments below as well. We hope to see you next time, and we will see you gurus next time. Have a good one.